like slowing down. I always feel like we're about to do the wave when we do that. In our meditation group, we did that, and I said that. Do you remember that? We said, that's like the wave, and somebody started doing that. We went around our circle a few times just doing the wave. And so it made me think, imagine if you went to a baseball game and everybody's doing the wave and a meditation broke out. Yeah? Wouldn't that be cool? When I learned the title of the talk, and I didn't pick it, Helping with the Stores of Wellbeing for the Holidays, it sounded like I was being offered a seasonal job in retail. I imagined myself working on Black Friday in a store called Wellbeing, where we sell cashmere meditation cushions and memory foam yoga mats and smoke-free incense. Namaste, and how may I help you? In reality, I facilitate the UUCP's Tuesday night meditation group. This is part of the small group ministry here at the church. And I can tell you, we're not that kind of group. We're a hodgepodge of ages, genders, and backgrounds, experiences, and beliefs. I'm grateful for everyone who has sat with us and shared their most intimate selves and wisdom. We focus on two things: present moment awareness and the importance of kindness. That's pretty much it. I'm distilling today a lot of what we practice. Like, we're still learning to deal with things that bug us, such as musical earworms, the song you can't get out of your head, or how we struggle to maintain equanimity when merging on Pullman Highway in front of the furniture center. Each week we meet and meditate, followed by a discussion of how we're learning that life is a big feast of deliciousness and disappointment. Or, as my daughter might say, pie and salad. We want the good and not the bad. That's natural but unrealistic. Our challenge is to deal with the dark and the light, the pain and the pleasure, to make peace with what is happening, including thoughts and feelings, and then to gently nourish the mindset you'd like to develop. You can't feed the right wolf, or whatever metaphor you prefer, until you acknowledge all the wolves, tigers, monkeys, and dust bunnies in your mind. A wise man once said, "It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live." Does anyone know where that comes from? That's Professor Dumbledore, admonishing Harry Potter, who had become obsessed by the mirror of Erised, a mirror that would show the looker what they most deeply desired. For Harry, orphaned as a baby, he saw his parents, though still alive. Professor Dumbledore saw a comfortable pair of socks. He was telling Harry that while you can dream, you have to get on with your life. What would you see if you looked into that mirror? I bet it wouldn't be shoveling snow or getting a flu shot. That's why getting caught up in the desirable makes it harder to accept the other stuff. In a computer game I play with my daughter called Minecraft, the game is called Minecraft, not my daughter, we can turn off a setting called player versus player. It's a harm setting. It's also called friendly fire, even though there's no firearms. Usually this is to prevent her friends from going all Lord of the Flies on each other. Sometimes I thought it would be great if there were a mechanism in real life where we could toggle a button on Earth's controls and suddenly we couldn't hurt each other. Turn off griefing, in which game language means turning off harming the environment. But we can't. We can't stop the bad. We try to be very good, to do it all perfectly, and we still lose. Life isn't fair. What if we make peace with what is? As one of our meditation group members reminds us, it is what it is. In mindful awareness, we practice recognizing whatever is happening. We don't try to eliminate pain or thoughts. We don't greedily hold on to the good moments. We breathe and let go. Notice and breathe. So let's take a moment to practice by simply being with what is happening right now. take a moment to settle and relax while getting as still and quiet as you can. Look around. Notice what is around you. Maybe focus on a small area. Zoom in like you've got high def. See what you see. Label it if you like. And just breathe. Now bring your awareness to your body. How is your body feeling resting in your chair? Your hands, wherever they are. Are you warm or cool? Do you have any aches or pains? Just notice and breathe. Then bring your awareness directly to your breath, naturally breathing in and out. Just notice and breathe. Of course, you're thinking. Your mind is wandering, and that's perfectly fine. Notice those thoughts too. Hello, thoughts. Notice them and let go. Notice and breathe. Lastly, really open your awareness to sounds and just listen. Hear the sounds of shuffling, children moving, hungry bellies. If something catches your attention, just notice it and let it go. And as we move into the gift of music, see if this new awareness helps you hear the beauty of both the notes and the spaces between. Meditation is also called metta in Pali and Maitri in Sanskrit. It's one of the most beloved meditations, meaning friendliness, goodwill, benevolence. And when all else fails, including words, this is the one I turn to for others and myself. In essence, it's a wish for ourselves and others to be at ease. As was mentioned, I facilitate the church's meditation group, also called the Buddhist group. This group was started some years back by Jay Feldman, who taught UI's comparative religion classes. I could never fill his shoes. I'm not an expert, and while I've been studying Buddhism and mindfulness for more than 25 years, I'm not a guru. For every bit of equanimity and insight I gain, I forget it on Monday when my husband and I argue over what's for dinner. I'm here because I am in the trenches with you, side by side. I don't know your story, but I do know how to freak out during the holidays. There are still times in my life when I lie awake at night, wondering how I'll ever get it all done, wondering what to get so-and-so as a gift and trying to make it fun for my children, worrying about money, or worse, feeling disconnected and left out, that everyone is participating in a cool holiday except me. I now understand why everyone said all they really wanted for the holidays was to be with others. That connection means more than gifts and cookies and snow. I was raised Christian. My husband is Jewish, and now I mostly studied Buddhism. So we're Boo-Jews, or whatever you want to call us. We pretty much celebrate everything, and the kids think they should get gifts for everything too. The only thing we guarantee, though, is a tree, a menorah, and peanut butter buckeyes. Everything else is negotiable. Even if you opt out of all the winter holidays, there are still obligations during the winter season. We have worries, though they differ. If you're a student or a teacher, you're worried about finals. Musicians have concerts. Businesses have end-of-the-year goals. It's the time of year of flus and colds and icy falls on the sidewalk. Or a stressful risk of shoveling the snow, driving in poor conditions, or air travel. Everyone's story and situation are different. So what can we do? There are enough articles and TED Talks about how to deal with family dinner conversation. Shop savvy and treat yourself with bubble bath and chocolate. I'm not going to do that. I know many of you already practice mindfulness and have read many of the great books by Thich Nhat Hanh, Jack Kornfield, Tara Brach, the real experts. And some of you have even taken meditation retreats. Today, I'd like to go local and share some of the truths and wisdom our UUCP meditation group have brought up again and again. All of this we've learned from others and experience, so it'll all be familiar. It's not original, but it's well meant. We've shared it in our group meetings, the very tender and real heartaches of loss and celebration of success. It's hard to pick what to share, but here goes. First, you're still you. You do you. No judging. Give yourself the break you'd give others. Do you expect the people sitting here around you to be perfect, create a perfect holiday, to do everything Pinterest suggests? Then why are you demanding that of yourself? Do you think you're special? Is your ego involved? Most often we suffer because our expectations exceed our reality. When you start hyperventilating about your great ideas and all the cookies you're going to make and decorate, stop, breathe, and define what is most important. Keep coming back to that and ask yourself, what is essential? For me, that means just showing up, visiting with loved ones, no gifts needed, just being with those I love. That's what will be remembered. Second, instead of thinking all that you have to do, think of it as what you get to do. This one's harder for me, but I'm working on it, this reframing of tasks as opportunities and a way to be grateful for the obligations. I'm shoveling snow because I have a home. I'm constantly doing laundry because I have a family at home. I'm sick and going to the doctor because I have health care. This is not looking on the bright side. It's putting things in perspective that brings me to my third point. While whatever you're going through is legitimate, and I would never belittle or diminish its importance, it might broaden your perspective to remember you're not alone. There is so much suffering in the world, and we don't know the full story of what any person is going through. When we recognize our shared challenges, it creates empathy. While you bemoan all the things you have to do, someone else is feeling alone during the holidays or missing someone dearly. As hard as it is, suffering is universal. This is an excellent opportunity for a practice called Tonglen, somewhat similar to metta, loving kindness, except we visualize taking in the suffering of others when we breathe in. And then we breathe out relief, comfort, and love. It legitimizes our pain and helps ease its sting by knowing we're doing something constructive. From the little hurts to the big sufferings, it helps. From breathing in our communal worries, then breathing out calm and acceptance. We breathe in the worry and breathe out ease. So just try it for a moment. Think of something small plaguing your mind. On behalf of everyone faced with a similar challenge, whatever you're imagining, you're going to take it in by breathing in deeply. And then you're going to breathe out a cleansing breath of comfort and acceptance. Once again, breathe in the worry and the pain and the difficulty. Maybe hold that for a couple of seconds. And then breathe out a breath of relief and of care. This practice turns the focus from ourselves to empathy and community. The next reminder is that words matter to you. So whether you say Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, or May the Force be with you, own your own truth. Be kind, yes, but be genuine. Your words, your truth. I'm sure I've said something today that someone disagrees with, or I've offended someone. That happens. I'm not going to get it all right. I had so much anxiety over preparing for this. I had to remind myself how kind you all are, how forgiving. I'm imperfect, human. I mess up. talk too much. I talk too fast. But I'm going to try to go easy on myself. Most especially because I want my children to know, which are right in the front, it's okay to be imperfect. If I beat myself up, what example am I setting? I want them and you to know it's okay. We lose none of our value because we don't get it right. We need kindness for ourselves and others. As the Dalai Lama says, kindness is my religion. We are miracles of the universe. We are like gods, just not very good ones. And as our longest term member reminds us of another common Buddhist saying, we're perfect, but we could use a little improvement. Another obvious truth is that we can't eliminate thoughts. Don't try. Instead, notice them, laugh at them, invite them to tea, and if possible, cultivate in them better behavior. You are not your thoughts. You are also not the events that happen to you. Unlike in books and movies, life doesn't pause on the happy ending. Instead of happily ever after, stories should end with happily for the moment. Holiday movies abound with realizations and awakenings, but maybe the most realistic is Die Hard, which has multiple sequels of disasters, failed relationships, and raw humor. That's like a party question. Which holiday movie best describes you? Wake up and notice everything. No, seriously, wake up. Wake up. Pay attention. Take walks. Pay attention when you take walks. One of my favorite and a surprising paradox that has proven true is this. If you're feeling overwhelmed and rushed, slow down. It sounds counterintuitive, but you'll find your inner psyche regrouping. You'll probably start breathing again. Your heart will slow. You'll make fewer mistakes. You'll get more done. Next, breathe. Have I mentioned breathing? Let me say it again. Breathe. Breathe deep. Breathe natural. Get quiet and breathe. This leads me to the last point. You are not alone. Connect with others, which you're doing right now. Another member likes to remind us of the old saying, being with others doubles the joy and halves the sorrows. You don't even have to speak, just sitting next to someone with whom you have common purpose. Notice I said common purpose and not common interest. That's why you feel connected to others here, even though you may not know a thing about each other or share taste in holiday pie, apple or pumpkin. You can sit on a plane, mostly oblivious to fellow passengers, until there's a mechanical problem. Then suddenly you notice the people around you, and your common goal of wanting to live connects you together in desperate fellowship. We love the ones we're with and remember what's important in a second when those seconds are numbered. In a minute, we're going to close with singing the metta song, the loving kindness song once again. But first, I want to tell you how metta became important to me. I don't like air travel, even before 9/11. On the plane, I would be counting the minutes until the trip was over. I even had backup anxiety medicine just in case. And I did take it a few times when the turbulence was bad. But when my son was born, and we flew for the first time, I couldn't take medicine that makes you sleepy. I needed to make sure he was okay and keep him occupied. And then he fell in love with air travel. I mean, he loved it, still loves it. Everything about it, the plane, the snacks, the windows. That's when they had snacks too, by the way. Which I let him sit next to. He could sit next to the window. And he would say, look, look, as we banked and the ground came up to greet us. And I didn't want to discourage him. I didn't want him to know I was uncomfortable. After all, my terror was likely brought on because my own mother was terrified of flying. I was determined he would not acquire my phobia. So I projected calm and interest. I learned to do metta and silently sent myself and all the other passengers goodwill. When I look at the ground as we banked and my stomach still did flip-flops, I said, wow, and I learned that my fears were meaningless. They were thoughts, real, but not true. I found that the best approach to dealing with flying discomfort is metta. When we hit rough air, I silently say, may we be happy. Yeah, that would be nice, but ain't nobody happy when the plane's jumping up and down. So I think, may we be safe. Well, what if we aren't? What if we can't be entirely safe? Not in the air or not on the ground. At least not all the time. Just a few years ago, I was flying alone, rushing to Florida to make it in time to say goodbye to my father before he died. During the connection in Salt Lake City, my mother called to say I wasn't going to make it in time. So I got on the plane, knowing that while I was in the air, breathing in loving kindness for my father, he was taking his final breaths. Of course, I didn't make it in time to say goodbye. But I'm not the first or last person this has happened to. So I send out a wish. May we be strong enough to handle whatever happens. And if we're not up to the task before us, may we then find ease. This works every time because it takes me out of myself and we're in it together. These strangers and I have a very precise focus of commonality. We want it to stop, but we can't control it, so all we're left with is empathy and love. The same things we're left with in so many situations of challenge, like dealing with the stress of the season. I have to be honest. The ancient contemplative traditions of meditation and mindfulness don't deal with time spans like seasons. They deal with moments. How to live second by second, choice by choice that arises. And even though there are lots of books and living experts, it's the same wisdom. And even though we can verify its usefulness with thousands of studies and fMRIs, I can't tell you how to meet the season, except to say, to treasure its brevity, see it through someone else's eyes, slow down, and live moment by moment. And breathe, and be filled with loving kindness. Be well, be peaceful, and at ease, and be whole. Thank you.